What's up, guys? It's the Essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And you guys are tuned into Caught
in Conversation.
Shaka-laka-laka. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 156 of Caught in Conversation. If you're happy, you're happy. That was literally just a little throwaway line that was said by our guest today, and it just kind of stuck and kind of resonated with me, so I just decided to name the episode that. But I, of course, am your host, the Essential John L. Crossfire. I'm riding solo today. Nova Lee's feeling a little bit under the weather. Unfortunately, life's getting a bit hectic. Is what it is. Hopefully she'll be back for next week's episode, but stay tuned. Today I am talking to the fully fueled E10 from Cairns, Queensland, now residing in Canberra, ACT, doing the Slam Pro Wrestling League. Recently returned from an injury, recently formed somewhat of a tag team with Revolver Randy Chambers called Horsepower, which we'll touch on a little bit towards the tail end of the conversation. But this was a very fun conversation with E10. I really enjoyed this conversation. I'm a big fan of his work as just an outsider looking in, and I see a lot of potential in this man. Again, I'm just I'm just a man that has an opinion, and for some reason someone put a microphone in front of me to validate that opinion. But I very much enjoyed this conversation. But before I get too far ahead of myself, the song of the week for this week will be Pump It by Electric Callboy. And your match of the week for this week is the Money in the Bank ladder match from WrestleMania 24. Now, this song will become very apparent as you listen to this conversation. We literally straight up mentioned it, and I said, hey, screw it, I'm going to make that the song of the week, and bloody blah, blah, blah. Listen to the conversation and find out. The match was a mixture of things. E10 mentioned a match that he had against Carlito, and he also mentioned his love for ladder matches. And that combined, my ADHD brain went straight to that one spot in the WrestleMania 24 Money in the Bank ladder match where Carlito hits the backcracker or the backstabber off the ladder. And it's always been a weird spot because the guy kind of lands on top of him, but it is what it is. It's a cool spot. It's a great match. Go check it out. Go listen to the song. It's a banger. Match is a banger. But this conversation, hopefully, will be a banger. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, making his Caught in Conversation debut from Canberra, Australia, by way of Cairns, Queensland, he is the fully fueled, most high-octane athlete in the Slam Pro Wrestling League. This is E10. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with the fully fueled, explosive E10. How are you doing tonight, mate?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, look, I'm doing as good as a blind man can. I'm sitting here, this conversation, although it's audio only, having you on is still a sight for sore eyes, if that makes any sense at all. But as I was just explaining to you off air, we always ask the same question to start this conversation, so we might as well just jump straight into it to break the ice, just to learn a little bit about yourself and why you entered the professional wrestling business. But what was your earliest professional wrestling memory, E10?
Oh, earliest wrestling memory. So I reckon it was when I was knee high to a grasshopper, quite a young fella, up in North Queensland with my cousins, and they used to go to the video shop and rent the Royal Rumble or like the pay-per-view events for WWE. So yeah, I remember watching quite a lot of them pay-per-view events when I was younger with my cousins.
Is there any specific event that sticks out in your memory?
Ooh, probably one of the first TLC, if not the first TLC, with the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian.
That's the shit.
That's probably one of my most memorable ones, I'd say, yeah.
I'm assuming, because Queensland does have a pretty notable professional wrestling scene now, but at what point from discovering WWE and stuff did you discover that there was not only independent wrestling, but when did you discover that Australian wrestling existed?
I had no idea about Australian wrestlers in like the top tier levels, like like WWE, TNA, and all that. Like I was quite sheltered from it all because it was quite hard for me to watch other than going to the video shop and renting it. But yeah, look, I reckon when I found out about the indie scene in Australia, let alone Queensland, was I'd say 2012, 2013, possibly. It was just always something in the back of my mind that I wanted to give wrestling a crack, or I'm like, I'd love to try it one day and see how I went. And I just Googled Australian professional wrestling, and that's sort of what opened the door for me, you know?
Was there a specific match or moment where it made you kind of go, man, I want to do that, or man, I could do that?
No, not really. Like, other than, I mean, like most like fans of wrestling, you know, you wrestle in your backyard with your mates or your siblings or your cousins or whatever, and I just always figured, like, man, this stuff is fun, eh? Like, I had such a good time doing it, and I just always said to myself, if I ever got the opportunity to give it a crack, I'd go full pelt, bloody crank it up and let's go, you know. But I just didn't really know there was an option because I originally come from Cairns, so I was like, oh, there's no hope for me having a crack at professional wrestling in Cairns, and then I found out there was a promotion in Cairns. I just thought, what have I got to lose? Let's have a crack. And I reached out to the promotion and had a trial, and I was just, I don't mean to blow my own horn, but I was just like, I just picked everything up really quick. I have the agility, so like the promoter at the time there, he's like, mate, I need you on this roster. Like I thought I can see quite a future in professional wrestling for you, and I want you to sign up. So yeah, that's the start.
See, of course, insert, obligatory, don't try this at home, message here to people that listen to this. But we really have been blessed, E10, in the generation that we're in. I know there's a lot of, veterans that are a bit bitter about it, but the fact that you, being up there in Cairns, which is a very isolated, place in the country, to be able to sit there and type in Google and, find results, and not only that, but find results close to you, like that just speaks wonders to the power of the internet. But what was the process like for you of reaching out and, taking that initial step of actually going, hey man, I've wanted to do this, how do we go? Did you just send a Facebook message or an email, or go to a show?
I reached out on the Facebook page. And it actually took quite a lot of convincing from my partner. She's like, well, like, what have you got to lose? Like, and I just really worried about what people would think. I was just really self-conscious of, what people would think, or like I'd cop a bit of shit. But then I was just like, the missus really like opened my eyes and convinced me. She's like, like, doesn't really matter. Like, if you're going to be happy at the end of the day, like let them, pretty much. Let them say what they're going to say. Let them think what they're going to think. So yeah, I just sent it, messaged the Facebook chat, and like having my missus behind me there, like sort of the driving force to help me get that motivation. And then like ever since I messaged and went to the trial, I just never looked back. I was like, oh, why didn't I do this sooner?
And I think, as you said, you said yourself, not to toot your own horn, but you've basically taken it as a, like a duck to water. That's got to be, a bit of a confidence boost and a bit of a relief in some ways as well. But I know you've done a few different promotions and stuff around the New South Wales area, and they still do always bill you as being from Queensland and stuff. But obviously, most notably, I first saw you, and a lot of people will have first saw you in Canberra in the Slam Pro Wrestling League. So how did you go from all the way up in Cairns, man, to down in the nation's capital? Walk us through that.
Well, to be honest, Cairns, born and bred, just used to being hot and less hot all year round. Just one, like my wife's got a cousin down here, so we came and visited her one day and just fell in love with the place. And then we went back home. Like, we'd visit once a year, and the missus, she's Cairns born and bred as well, and we just both got sick of sweating all the time, and winter, it's just a little bit less hot during winter. So we're just sick of the heat. We knew Canberra was cold. We knew we liked it. And I was just one day we went like, stuff it, let's go. Let's break leaf, pack up everything we have in the car, sell what we can, and drive down, stay with the cousin, and went for a shot in the dark, and it landed, because I don't see us ever leaving Canberra now. We absolutely love it here. So,
I will say, I'm a bit of a country boy at heart, and as much as I enjoy the peace and quiet of where I am, I do quite often miss the convenience of Canberra, especially as someone that's legally blind. And the public transport in Canberra is probably, of any town I've visited or lived in, the public transport in Canberra is absolutely top tier. It's amazing. But from moving all the way down to Cairns to Canberra, at what point did you decide to reach out to Slam Pro Wrestling?
So there was a few things. So I had a few wrestlers that I knew of, or that I was mates with. They knew I was moving down to Canberra. They recommended. They're like, hey, just let you know, reach out to Slam Pro Wrestling League. And then another one of my mates who runs a promotion in Sydney, I'd worked with him up in Queensland on a show, and he's like, oh man, I hear you've moved to Canberra. I've got a really good connection for you to make, and it turned out to be Luke Watts, the Hope from the Top Rope. So
well, there you go.
He put me and Luke in contact, and it's like just the whole process of getting involved with Slam Pro Wrestling League. It just opened up a whole nother world of professional wrestling. It's not just a rural Queensland town of wrestling in front of 30 odd people. Like they've got this. But I feel like they've just got it figured out. Like it's a whole new world, and like now they've got the training academy, training 5 days a week, having shows multiple times a month. Like it's just, it's unreal. So like coming from the little country town up in Queensland to coming to the capital, Cairns to capital, like it's big fish down here. So it's just it's crazy to see how well a promotion can be run, and how well everyone can do, because everyone's out to sort of help each other with merch and training, and like getting yourselves out there, getting booked on different shows, different events, building the character, building the gimmick. Like it's just, I just learned so much more about E10, learned so much more about wrestling, the history, and just different ways to do it,
I actually had a little note here about the Slam Pro Academy, and but before I get to that, I'm just going to sound like a mark here. That little Cairns to Capital here, the little Cairns to Capital thing you just said, that could be an amazing tagline for a future, whether it's merchandise or storyline or something, because the moment you said that, my marky-ass brain, who absorbs probably too much wrestling at this point, the moment you said that, my brain went to Cody Rhodes with the undesirable to undeniable little tagline. I think that Cairns to Capital, I think there could be something in that. But I actually, we did have Luke Watts here on the show in the lead up to Rage in the Cage 2, and he did tell us about the training academy and stuff like that. But could you just tell us a bit about your experience at the training academy, and how people can find it if they themselves want to give it a crack? Because as you did say, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, that is an amazing opportunity, and like Canberra's pretty easy to navigate. So even if you live on the other side of town, like, hey, look, it might be 30-40 minutes with traffic, but it's kind of worth it, really.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wish I had something like the Slam Pro Wrestling League Academy when I was starting out. Like, just because when I was starting out, I had a lot more time to dedicate to wrestling, whereas now I seem to have something on every night of the week. But like having training available 5 times a week, and like some of the best trainers, and like you just, like Luke Watts, Dan Archer, like you can pick their brain. They've got a wealth of knowledge, and like they've got all the time in the world to teach you, to tell you, like to understand, just the ins and outs of your character, like to really get the nitty gritty, and to like make sure you're doing everything correctly, like and safely in the ring, which is the most important thing, because as you know, as you get a bit older, you always have a little niggling injury or something's always feeling a bit off. So if you can prevent injuries, like doing simple stuff, like be brilliant at the basics, like slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I just knowing all this, picking their brain when I first started out, it would have been a completely different career. At start of my career, I find I would have progressed even better than I ever did. I cannot believe how developed it is and how just the wealth of knowledge that's here in the capital. And Luke Watts, he's been in the business over 20 years. He's been to Japan. He's been to Canada. It's crazy, the wealth of knowledge, and just the bunch of people here, just the people involved in Slam behind the scenes. They're just, it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal way to be involved in the business,
I look at it and, I don't have a dog in the race at this point. I'm medically retired. I had my time. It was what it was. But I'm so envious of some of the young guys coming through now and seeing, what they have in front of them with the Slam Pro League. Because the same thing, when I come in, I'm like, man, I wish I had have had something like that, because it's just amazing to think. And it's almost, I know it's, there've been a lot of work and stuff behind the scenes, but from the outside looking in, with the way that it's popped up to the public, it's almost like it popped up overnight. And it was just like, holy shit, where did this come from? With all the state-of-the-art stuff. But no, it's amazing to see. And the amount of, guys and girls that have already come through that academy and are going on now to doing shows around New South Wales and, probably end up going up to Queensland sooner than later. Who knows? I know Luke Watts himself, he just did a seminar not too long ago when we were talking to him up with Top End in the Northern Territory. The sky's the limit for so many of you guys and girls coming out. And I as just a fan, I can't wait to see where it goes. But we move along a little bit. You yourself actually just had to take a little bit of time off. You returned at the Slam Rumble. Could you just walk us through a little bit what the process was there with the time off and preparing to come back at such a big show?
Do you mean from when I moved from Queensland, or just here in Canberra?
So I know you took a little bit time off in the Slam Pro League, and you came back at the Slam Rumble. What was going on there? Was there an injury, or was it just personal life? Or?
So no, it was injury. So I was truck driving at the time, and I blew my knee out, the fat pads in my knees. I just jumping in and out of trucks all day. It was like the shock absorbers were just were shagged. So I couldn't bend my knee for a while and couldn't really do any walking, running, jumping. So it sort of put cut start of the year last year. It sort of took the wind out of my sails and sort of deflated me a bit, and trying to work up, go to physio, get the strength back, and get back to training so that I can get rid of the ring rust. But you go to event days and you help out, doing the little things, helping out at merch, setting up the ring, packing down the ring, doing all that, and it's just then watching the event, you just get itchy. You're itching at it to get back in there. You miss it. You get serious FOMO, and when I got the sort of all clear by the physio and I felt good on the knee again, straight away it was straight back into training. Picking the trainer's brains. I'm like, all right, what do I need to do? How do I do this? I just need to, I just head first into training again, getting ring fit, getting back in, and then, getting the call up. I was so excited because I knew it was a big event. And they just, they go all out at event days, and they just, the fans, they're unreal, just seeing the caliber of fans and how many fans come through those doors to cheer on the men and women at Slam Pro Wrestling League. It's just, it's unreal. But, so it was just a lot of big mental game trying to, getting older, realising, I'm not invincible, I can get injured, I can get hurt. Just trying to build myself back up for that Slam Rumble. Unfortunately, I got picked up and thrown out like a sack of potatoes, but that's how it happens, These things happen, but, I'm always, I take it on the chin, learn from it, train harder, train smarter, and just, ready for the ready for the next time I get to step through the ropes, you know?
See, I can kind of sympathise with that because my dad was an interstate truck driver and he had the traditional truck driver belly, so his ankles were shot from the same thing of constantly climbing up and down. And I myself have got bad knees from years of football and soccer as a kid before I started having issues with my eyes, so I can completely understand what you're going through there. But what was it like, man? Like, obviously there's nerves, but once you get out there and the clock ticks down and you're in the rumble, were you worried about if the knee would hold up, sort of thing?
Not at all. I just didn't think about it. I was just running on energy. I was just running on adrenaline. I was pumped up, fired up, ready to go. Firing on all cylinders. I was like, as soon as you come out the entrance, I was like, oh, and then you hear the roar of the crowd, you see the lights, you see the boys fighting in the ring. You're like, oh, let's go, let's get in there, and you just, it was just amazing. It's just such a thrill, like just getting out there. So no worries at all. Because I knew I had it strapped. I had it I was like, nah, she's good to go. I'll be fine. Just got to get out there and do my thing.
I'm glad you're back, and I'm glad you're feeling better. I personally, from a fan perspective, my wife and I, we went to the AIS show. It was the first slam show that I've personally been able to be to, just because health reasons and stuff. But I've obviously been watching on YouTube and keeping up, since the very beginning. I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see, E10 in the Terry Campese Battle Royal or anything like that. But I'm glad to hear that you're back, and hopefully sooner than later I can catch a show that you're at again. But we'll fast forward a little bit. Something else that happened very recently, actually last weekend, as we record this conversation. It'll be a couple of weeks ago, obviously, by the time this is released to the public. But you just stepped into the Slam Masters Cup tournament. Probably didn't exactly go as you planned. I mean, you lost to Dan Archer, but obviously there's no shame in that. He is the current Slam champion. But following that, he beat you in the match, and as if that's not bad enough, he kind of took some liberties, so the officials, maybe rightfully so, overturned that decision. You eventually went on to lose to Vinny in the second round, who eventually defeated Luke Watts himself in the final.
Yeah.
What kind of, that must have been a roller coaster of emotions for you, going in there, you lost the match, look, fair enough, come back, fight another day. Then Dan kind of does what he does, you get another shot at the second round, and then you fall to the ultimate winner. What went through your head, through that night? Because that must have been a real roller coaster of emotions for you.
Well, it was, it's been the first time I've stepped in the ring for a little while again, so I was excited. I was, being asked to take part. I participated in the Slam Masters Cup. I was honoured and excited to get in there and, win the cup and raise the cup over. I had friends and family in the crowd that I wanted to make proud. And, I came up short. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some. But, look, end of the day, Dan Archer, he's the champion. Good on him. He's one of the best I've ever seen step through them ropes. He's very skilled. He's a big boy, so he hits hard. I was trying to hit him hard, but end of the day, he was, I trained hard, trained smart. I thought I could have got there. End of the day, he was, the better man until after the rung bell, and I didn't do anything to justify the beating he gave me, or I think he's just got some issues he needs to sort out himself. So, I don't think it was justified, and I'm pretty stoked that the Slam officials reversed the order and gave, I didn't win, but you can't go about life treating people like that and hope to get away from it. So I hope he learned a lesson from that. And I'm pretty eager to get back at Dan Archer, get back in the ropes one-on-one and go toe-to-toe with him. And I know what to expect now, so I won't let him pull sneaky on me again like that. But, obviously getting the beat down from Dan Archer gave Vinny the advantage going into that match. And we all know he's a bit of a weasel as well. He'll sneak his way through and cheat wherever he can, and unfortunately Slam officials don't see certain things. But I went into that match one step back, and obviously quite injured, quite sore, and beat up by Dan, so he had the advantage there. And I thought I had him. I had the momentum on Vinny. I'm like, yep, this is it. I got him. And just pulled one up on me and got me into the London Eye. And, we all know what happened next. But, again, he's someone else I can't wait to go toe-to-toe against. And now I know what he's about, and now I know what to expect. So, again, Dan Archer, Vinny Bronson, it's not happening again. Next time E10 goes toe-to-toe with you, you won't be so lucky.
Now, I have no doubt that you, as a student of the Slam Pro League, still sat down and you watched the main event between Vinny and Luke and kind of scouted the competition, so to speak. But what was going through your mind watching that match, knowing that, with all due respect to Vinny, the outcome in the previous match may have possibly been different had you have not have been suffering from Dan's attack?
Look, we all know how talented and brilliant Luke Watts is. We all know what he can achieve and what he can do in that ring. And again, Vinny Bronson, he was quite rested. He had two matches prior to the Luke match and cheated in the first one, pulled a sneaky on me in the second one. It wasn't a super long match, but he caught me off guard there. So he's done the bare minimum. So I feel like he went into that main event well rested, going up against an exhausted and tired Luke Watts. Because like I said, Slam fans, everyone else knows, on the roster and behind the scenes, and even watching the event, everyone knows what Luke Watts can do, and everyone knows what Vinny Bronson's like now. So it was it never gets easy watching those guys act that way and carry on, and they still get the win. So you just know eventually karma's coming around to get them.
Did you take anything away from that event in terms of you did still go toe-to-toe with the Slam champion? It could have gone any way. And then obviously, even with the injury, you still went in there, you gave it 110%, you were fully fueled against Vinny Bronson. Obviously showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of courage, but did you take anything away from that event? Because I feel like even in defeat, just from the outside looking in, that's got to kind of boost your confidence to an extent, because you still showed that you could have, and possibly, if it had been any other night, wrestling's a matter of 3 seconds, in some cases, it's a quick submission, which Vinny got you in, but did you take anything away from this tournament and how it, ended up taking place?
Well, at the end of the day, I'm never going to shy away from a fight, regardless if it's the champion or anyone else like Vinny Bronson. I'm always going to be eager to fight. I'm always going to be eager to go toe-to-toe with anyone, because at the end of the day, I'll learn from it, whether I win or lose. I learn from it. I learn from my mistakes. But just going into that, and I know Dan Archer's one of the best, and he's got the gold to prove it. And to know I went toe to toe with the champion, and I almost had him a few times. It gives me a positive outlook to know, yep, I can do it. I can climb the Slam Power rankings, and one day hopefully hold that gold up high. And all would have been worth it. But I'm never going to shy away from a fight. I'll never say no. I'm always going to, I will never turn away. I'll never take the coward's way out. I'll always go, full throttle, crank it up to 10th gear, and I'm always going to send it, So, like I said, Dan Archer, Vinny Bronson, next time we go toe-to-toe, it won't be so, you won't get so lucky.
I'm definitely, just from an outsider's perspective, looking forward to seeing, when/if that happens. But this is the part of the show, E10, where the whole one of the taglines of the show is "For the marks, by the marks." We a lot of people think that being a wrestling fan's a bad thing. I think it's a tremendous thing personally. So, just winding it back a little bit, what are some of your favourite matches of all time? Both that you've had, but also what are some of your more favourite matches that you've seen as a fan or potentially learned from?
All right. Well, how you saying, it always gets a bad rep being a wrestling fan, but look, at the end of the day, if you're happy, you're happy. Who cares what anyone thinks? Hey, if you're enjoying it, enjoy it. Just let the haters think what they're going to think. But favorite matches, so I had pretty good opportunities early on in my career. My first ever loss, my first ever professional wrestling loss was against, well, now he's in the WWE, but Carlito was my first ever loss. I think it was my fourth ever match, third or fourth match. So, so that I learned a lot from that match. I was used to seeing how people worked and operated and, like how matches were structured and that. So, yeah, knowing that and going in thinking, this is his bread and butter. So, I was previously nervous going into matches, and I still do get nervous from time to time, but going into that match with Carlito, I remember just thinking, like, this is his bread and butter, like, no matter what, he's got me, like, we're good to go. And, yeah, like, we didn't talk about anything beforehand or anything like that. It was just, I just remember talking to him, and he's like, nah, man, we'll just have fun out there. And I'm like, yeah, no dramas. So just calling stuff out there and just having a good time, and getting to take the first loss against Carlito, and he raised my hand out of respect because it was a hell of a match, and I feel like I learned a lot from that, and not to stress so much and just relax, enjoy it, and just roll with the punches,
That's a pretty cool thing to have, like, I know it's weird because it's a loss, but that's almost in a weird way a feather in the cap when you think about it. It's in the history books of, the Journal of E10, like it's there, it's in writing, like that's a trivia question, in 20 years time when E10, hangs up the boots, like, hey, Slam Pro Wrestling fans or WrestleBrania or wherever it particular is, like, who defeated E10 in his first ever loss? Carlito set in stone. That's pretty freaking cool.
So it was pretty exciting, and then that led to getting an opportunity to wrestle in Japan as well. And I was like this close to being offered a 6-month contract to work with a promotion over there for 6 months, and then the whole world shut down due to COVID, so they couldn't.
Wow. Okay.
So I was so close. I went over there. I was on holiday with my partner, and I had a friend that I'd worked with before. He was he worked like his full-time job is wrestling over in Japan, and he's like, mate, look, why are you here? Like, he knew I was coming to Japan. He's like, why are you here? I want to book you on a show, please. Like, I hope you're available because it'd be great to have you there. And I'm like, oh, absolutely, I'm there. I was the opener for the show. We got the time limit, and it was just a completely different atmosphere working with someone who didn't speak a lick of English. So again, that just made me fall in love with the art of wrestling even more because it's all just body language, and it just worked. Like even with not being able to speak each other's language, we still got to have a phenomenal match. It was one of my favorite matches ever. I just had so much fun. The crowd popped off. Like my wife was there to watch it all, and they were really happy with me, and they said, yeah, look, would you be interested in a 6-month contract? We'll have to sort it out, but we just got to see what this COVID's doing, and then I was like, yeah, no drama. So I continued on with my holiday, and then when COVID was classed a pandemic, and then the world started shutting down, my mate reached out and was like, hey, look, they're not going to go ahead with the 6-month the contract because they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what's going to happen to the world. So, it's unfortunate. One day I'd love to go back there and work in Japan again because I absolutely love the place, and the people are just amazing. So, that's another opportunity that I had as E10, and at the time I feel like I took it in, but now looking back at it, I just wish I could have saved it even more,
Now that you bring it up, what was your favourite thing to do while you were in Japan?
Other than wrestling, just like sightseeing all the sites. Like Japan was phenomenal. Like even though there was a language barrier, people went above and beyond to show you around if you were lost and help you out when need be. Like the people are just so genuine there and so lovely. And coming back to rural Queensland and you get all the you get all the bloody.
I get you.
Yeah, you get all those bloody people, and you're like, okay, we're back We're back in Cairns.
There's no place like home, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much, man. My goodness. Yeah.
But the next question is completely open for interpretation. You can be as outlandish or as realistic as you'd like, but who are some of your ultimate dream opponents and dream stipulations that you'd like to partake in?
Oh, dream opponents. And a dream stipulation. I reckon I'd one day love to be involved in a ladder match of some sort, some description. I don't know. I feel like just growing up watching the Hardys and the Dudleys and that, I'm like, as most little marks are. But probably dream match would either could possibly be a tag team match against the Velocities or someone like maybe like Tommy Knight.
I was going to say
Tommy Knight or something.
Maybe E10 and Luke Watts versus the Velocities?
Oh, that'd be great.
I'm just
that'd be
spitballing here,
excellent.
trying to think of the... But in saying that, if you and Dan Archer ever put your differences aside, yourself and Dan and the Velocities could have a fantastic match as well, so...
Look, I mean, I don't disagree with you at all, but yeah, eventually, I mean, Dan and I have got to sort out... We've got to go toe-to-toe again and sort out our differences, I think, because he's one up on me now and he's cheap shot me, so I feel like I need to level the field. So I reckon if I get that, like if I get my licks in, I'll be able to put that aside and work from there. But I've recently worked in a tag team with Randy Chambers, so
I'm
we
a
formed
big
a tag
fan
team
of what he's been
Horsepower.
doing as well, and I love that name. I've told so many people when I saw it, like on the results from, I think it was one of the Academy shows or something, and it popped up on Facebook. That actually popped me so much. It's such a subtle thing, but it works so well and it's so organic. I was just like, let's go.
Right. Well, because like Randy and I have gone toe to toe before, and it was a great match, and I earned. He earns a lot of respect. So I've found a lot of respect for him. He's a very, very talented performer, and I find he's got a very bright future ahead of him. And yeah, when we formed an alliance and formed the Horsepower, mate, I felt unstoppable. And then to go up against other tag teams and get the win, I just knew like how good we worked together and how like effective we were. And yeah, with a name like Horsepower, mate, you feel unstoppable, you know?
I'm patiently awaiting, the Horsepower merch, because I'm already thinking of, like, there's so many parody designs that you could do with, different types of fuel and cars and, everything else. But
100%. There's so much to play with there.
But before we start getting into the plugs and everything, E10, we always end this on a non-wrestling question. We try our best to tailor it to the individual that we're talking to. So obviously, you're E10, you're fully fueled, you're the most high-octane wrestler in the Slam Pro Wrestling League, and every other nickname that if I've missed any, I apologise. But you're very always high energy. You always seem to be pumped. What exactly keeps you so pumped? And as a bonus question, do you have any go-to pump-up jams before your matches?
Well, mate, I just love it. I just love getting in there. I absolutely love a locker room of high morale. I love just having a laugh, slinging some banter, and just love I just love it when everyone's happy. I love making people happy. I love just having a good old laugh, having a good old chin wag, and just when morale's high, everyone's having a laugh. Everyone's just happy to be there. Other than Dan Archer and that, but you can go about life all grumpy and upset. But at the end of the day, I'm just happy to be there. I'm just fired up, ready to go. I love getting in the ropes, giving it my all, cranking it up to 10th gear, and just sending it. I absolutely love it. When I don't wrestle or I'm away for work or anything like that, I miss training. I miss hanging out and chatting to people at training. I just do it for the fans. Like when you hear the fans like cheering E10 and celebrating you feed off that energy. So like when little kids are out there asking, like at the end of the day, asking for your signature in a photo, you're like, like I'm doing this for the right reasons, and I like, yeah, this is exactly where I need to be. Like, I just, like, you have no idea the effect you have on people when you're out there fighting, and, I never give up. I'll never give up as long as I'm alive. So, and, people can relate to that, So I just, I appreciate the fans out there who cheer me on and buy my merch, because it keeps me going, and I just, really I love getting in there training and working different opponents. It's just, it's a good time. I just love it. I have such a good time.
All right. I love the enthusiasm. I really, really do. I wish I had half of your enthusiasm when it comes to life in general at the moment, to be honest with you. But what's your go-to pump-up jam, E10?
Or go-to pump-up jam?
Or jams, if there's like a playlist.
At the moment, it's a newfound band that I found at a gig I went to not long ago. They're called Electric Callboy, and my goodness.
Oh, dude, yes.
They get me going, tell you that much. Holy, they've even got a song called Pump It. My God, that gets me going. Like, it fires me up.
I might even have to make that the song of the week for this episode when it's released. Oh, dude.
Yeah, I'd never heard of them before until I went to the Good Things Festival in Sydney. And yeah, when I saw them, my gob's never been so smacked, I was just like, I just couldn't look away. I was like, what are these guys? Where are they from? And what the hell? I couldn't look away. I was so entertained, But yeah, absolutely fallen in love with their music. So I'd say Electric Callboy.
Hell yeah. Well, with that being said, and where can we find you on social media? Where can we get your merch? What shows do you have upcoming? And where can we find the Slam Pro Wrestling Academy? So
Slam Pro Wrestling Academy. So we've got the Slam Academy showcases coming up. I'm unsure off the top of my head of the next date, but we've got events at Reload Gaming Bar. Unfortunately, that's closing down. So
dude, I just saw that last night as we record this, dude. That broke my heart.
Yeah, I know it's quite upsetting to see that one closing. But yeah, the Slam Pro Wrestling League will be in action there with a lot of the Slam Academy there. But yeah, socials, you'll find me at E10_pro wrestler on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, if you struggle to find me, you find me through the Slam Pro Wrestling League page. So yeah, Instagram and Facebook I'm on. And merch, you can find it you can find that on show days, or there's a Redbubble page.
I'll remember to link all of that in the description as well. But where else can we see you coming up soon? Is it just the Slam Academy shows that are yet to be announced, or do you have any interstate bookings at the moment?
I've got a few in the works for hopefully an interstate booking. I'm in chats with people.
Okay, yep.
But the next time will be the Reload event. I'll be in action there. And yeah, hopefully some more Slam Academy showcases and work myself up to a main Slam event.
Well, there you go. Usually I have to remember to put links to tickets and stuff in the description, but people, just for people that aren't aware, that those Reload shows are 100% free. So yeah,
100%.
If you're in Canberra or surrounding areas, you have no excuse. You cannot say no to free professional wrestling.
100%. And then it's the Reload's last hurrah. So come along, buy a beer, and cheer us on.
I myself am a little bit upset that I'm too far away to go see that, but I cannot wait to see all the clips and the highlights and everything else. But yeah, if you're in the area, it's March 22nd, I believe, Saturday the 22nd.
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
Excellent. Well, with that being said, I thank you very much for coming on tonight. We've been trying to tee this up for a little bit, but life's just been busy on all fronts. So I appreciate you finally finding the time, and I can't wait to see what you do next in Slam and beyond. And I thank you for giving me the time of day today, because this is still a growing podcast, and we're still trying to get our name out there. So I appreciate you taking a chance on us here at CIC Pod. But no, just thanks for the chat, man.
No worries, mate. Happy to be here and appreciate you. Appreciate it finally happening. We finally got there, and appreciate being on the show, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, mate. You have a good night.
You too, mate. Bye.
All right. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that was E10, and I thank E10 again for giving me his time. I really enjoyed this conversation. I cannot wait to see where his 2025 takes him. We're very early in the year, could take him anywhere now that he is back in the ring, and it's got me thinking. You know, he's got these issues with Dan Archer, and made me think, maybe, just maybe, I don't have any power, I'm just a mark with a microphone, but Rage in the Cage 3, potentially? Dan Archer? E10? Just saying. Just putting it out in the universe. Just putting it out in the universe. But no, genuinely thank you, E10, for coming on, and I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. I know that sometimes without Nova here, I can tend to rant, but I feel like E10 and I had a great conversation. The song of the week this week was Pump It by Electric Callboy. The match of the week this week was the men's Money in the Bank, or should you say the Money in the Bank ladder match, because it was before there was a women's one. The Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 24. I botched the hell out of that, but I'm going to leave it in. And of course, we explained why. It's a pump-up jam. He's wrestled Carlito. He loves ladder matches. Everything tied up and wrapped in a neat little bow. Really, really good stuff. As far as I'm concerned, such good shit, pal. No, thank you to E10 for coming on. Keep an eye out for him in the Slam Pro Wrestling League and beyond. He dropped a few little hints, but he can't. Obviously, he said he couldn't embellish on them just yet. So the best bet is to go to all the links that will be in the description and like him on Facebook and follow him on Instagram and everything else and see what he's up to next. Go buy some merch off his Redbubble shop, or even go to a show that he's at and, of course, buy merch from him firsthand. But Saturday, March 22nd, the last hurrah for Reload Bar and Games. I, as someone that used to be a Canberra native and frequented Reload a couple of times, am very, very genuinely sad to hear about this closure. So here, what I propose to you. If you are in Canberra, if you are in the surrounding areas of Canberra and you have the means to get this event, you go to this event because it is free. How can you turn down free wrestling? I mean, yeah, maybe like if you go out for a few drinks, you might have to pay for a taxi or an Uber, but the actual event itself is free. Free wrestling. You cannot say no to free wrestling, surely, right? But I digress. Go check that out. I personally cannot wait to see, the results and the clips and everything else. But with that being said, as I record this episode, I don't really have much coming up myself. There's only one event, and it's all the way at the end of the year, but I will plug it because it means a lot to me. Raising money for someone who passed away from the same type of cancer that my dad did. I've told the story many times. I'm not going to sit here and, shove it down your throat. But coming up November 1st, ICW Central West, raising money for the Emma Butler Memorial. We'll have the Emma Butler Memorial Show, the third one, raising money for the Emma Butler Tongue Cancer Charity. Of course, I do still have Radiation Kick shirts available. You can pre-order them for pick-up at the show or other shows that I may be at, or pay $10 extra for postage, etc., etc. But I'm very excited for that show. The tickets for that, ticket link for that will be below. But yeah, just keep an eye out for E10 and all things Slam Pro Wrestling, and of course I will link the Slam Pro Wrestling page and the Slam Pro Wrestling Academy page below as well if you're interested in checking those out. As we talked about in this conversation with E10, and as we talked about back when we had the Luke Watts episode, it's a state-of-the-art school, and they are now training 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. You can't say no to that, honestly. Hit them up if you're interested, never been interested in, joining the business, or maybe you're in the business and you want to kind of perfect your skills even more. 100%, I would recommend you go hit them up. There's a lot of great schools in the company, and they're arguably one of the top ones out of all of them, which does say a lot. Of course, all my links and Nova's links, I'll still link her even though she's not on this episode, are down below, containing our actual Facebook pages and Instagram pages, and of course all the podcast stuff is there. My Linktree does contain the pro wrestling tees, the Amazon wishlist, the GoFundMe is still there. We haven't needed it as much in recent times. Health is very, very slowly on the mend, but some of these trips do still take it out of it. It's kind of just controlling our lives at this point. But hey, it's a long waiting game. At the end of the day, once it's all said and done, both Nova and I will have better health, and it'll be fun and be able to go to more wrestling events and yada, yada, yada. Of course, the Patreon page is there. If you listen to this podcast, you should know by now that if you do as low as $5 reduce, as Nova would call it, you get the early access tier. As low as $5, you get podcasts up to 2 days early, but in this case, this one's dropping a week and a bit early once I've put it out there, so you can't say no to that. The second tier up, the $10 Australian, $6 US, you get instant access to the digital version of my children's book. I worked very hard on it. It's the first of 3 in a mini-series, and I already do have an idea once I finish these ones for my first full-length children's book, which will hopefully be out by the end of 2025, and obviously eventually I want to self-publish on Amazon, but everything just drops on my platforms first, just because obviously I feel more comfortable with that, and it's to test the waters and see how we go. The third tier and up, $15 tier, sooner than later, the audio version to that book will be coming. But also, if you have $15 tier, you can choose the topic for an episode. You can pick a top 10. You can pick a watch-along. You can pick a subject for a Markapalooza. And you get exclusive Patreon-only video footage of the watch-alongs that we do. But if you pick a match to watch along to, or a movie to watch along to, you will get the video footage of that. And obviously try and keep it, no more than an hour and a half for the watch-alongs, because, we don't want to be sitting here for too long. Those couple of rumbles we did this year, one went an hour 15, the other one went like an hour and a half. That was insane. That was very hard sitting in front of a camera for that long without being able to move. But yeah, it's all there. And of course, the top tier, $20 tier, the Supernova tier, still didn't do it as good as Nova Lee. You'll get a shout out, intro and outro for as long as you are. And of course, I want to start doing some Patreon exclusive giveaways. I've got some things here that I've been trying to sell at the house. One, to declutter, but two, just to try and cover those medical bills. And I figure if something's worth $100 to $150, if one person chucks, $20 to $30 in each, and there's 5 to 6 people, I'll take the hit for shipping. I've got no problem with that. You obviously pay barely a fraction of the price. And it's kind of borderline gambling in a way, because it'll go into a little spin wheel, but it's all in good fun, It's all there. Obviously, gamble responsibly, But we are doing a free public giveaway on the Facebook page. Once we get to 500 followers on the Facebook page, we will be doing a giveaway for a signed plaque by WWE Hall of Famer Edge, now known as Cope in AEW, and a piece of the SmackDown ring skirt from 2003 to 2008. We will be doing a spin wheel thing like that. Only open to Australia and New Zealand. If you're international and you want to join when we do get to the likes, you're going to have to cover the shipping, unfortunately. But yeah, we're giving that away, and I'm going to be covering shipping if it's Australia and New Zealand. And I could sell it along with the stuff that I'm trying to sell, but I want to try and, one, build this brand, but two, I want to give back to the listeners. And I hate saying fans, but I've had people say that they're a fan of our podcast, and that blows me away. And the fact that we've now had Terry Campese and Crazy Steve, and even Dr. Frank from Beauty and the Geek Australia, who in terms of Australia would be considered a celebrity, and we're ticking off all these goals and stuff, and we're almost, like, our goal for this year was to hit 4.5k all-time downloads. We're almost at 4k already just at the start of this year, so I just want to keep growing. I want to keep pushing. But yeah, I don't want to rant too long, especially because Nova's not here, and I want to try my best to keep this under an hour, since it was a quick little 40-minute conversation with E10, and we managed to squeeze quite a little bit in there. But just thank you again to E10 for coming on. Keep an eye out for him at the Slam Pro League. But yeah, all the links, check all the links. Make sure you check the links. But I think I'm going to take the title of this episode. I think I'm going to take it, and I'm going to use it just in life in general. If you're happy, you're happy. And I don't even know if E10 meant for that to be a pearl of wisdom, so to speak, but it really, really resonated with me. So just thank you for that, E10. But yeah, I am the Essential John L. Crossfire. You, yes you, were just caught in conversation, since Nova Lee isn't here, shaka-laka-laka, and titty sprinkles.